All right. Good morning, traders. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Sunday. Happy Easter. I was wondering if we might be light today due to the religious holiday. Smoked tri tip is on the menu today for Easter. All right. Good morning, Doug. Good morning, Steve C. Good Easter morning to you, Kent. Hello, Craig. Good morning, Bipos. Good morning, Sarah. Traeger ribs. Okay. I will also be on a Traeger. Good morning, Greg. Happy Easter. All right. Let us go ahead and get started. We have a great group. I'm sure we'll have more coming, but officially, good morning. Welcome out, everyone, to the Options Income Launchpad Sunday Market Insights. I'm Scott. I'll be your host. As always, education illustrative purposes only. Nothing we do should be intended as a recommendation to buy or sell any security financial product. We're not brokers or advisors, so we don't do personalized investment advice. Any decisions you make um, should be done so at your own risk. Yada, yada, yada. What are we doing today? Market posture. We're going to look at the economic calendar, what's coming up. We had a good jobs report. Better than expected jobs report. Um, Sectors, and again, not really that we're going to search, but what sectors do we want to search? So maybe more of a sector conversation. Watch list maintenance. We probably should start to bounce some of the weakest, some of the stocks that we never really, if there was a stock that we added and it never traded, why we might bounce that. Um, we might bounce that from our list. Okay. And lastly, we will build our watch list, and I expect it to be small. We are still working with a bearish watch list, so I'll review that today. I have that. We'll see, are any of those intact for still intact for going into early next week. We'll even do a little poll about what we think that the evening futures, are they going to start up, down, or sideways? All right. Well, let's get started here. I have the Oracle up. We're going to start at a long-term trend. I need to remember to ask how close I am to the end of a conversation. Has anyone had that? I've had a couple of my AI conversations where it's like you've reached the end, that's it. And I'm like, oh, I didn't realize that I could reach the end. Okay. Let's get sorry, I need when you have it code TOS, etc. Very cool. All right. Have you had issues getting continuity to start a new conversation, or were you able to like copy and paste the back end of it to like regenerate a new conversation? Because I was kind of like, what's the best strategy here? Okay. Okay. Let me get. Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay. Otis was on our bearish potential list. All right, let's see. We need to get this to the weekly. To the weekly. All right. And let's get a picture. Oh 040526. Pretty easy for me. We had a bounce. It doesn't need to go clearly any lower. Let's get this. Uh, insert columns before paste. And this is 0405. Okay. Long term for me stays the same. Um, any changes for anybody in their market in their long term score? Okay, no change. Got it. Got it. Got it. And let's go see if the Oracle. Now, the Oracle only got down to 0.75. So let's see. Oh, it downgraded. Um, it's very interesting that last week it didn't. This week it did on a recovery, but maybe it's just kind of realizing. Fair enough. It's catching up down to 0.5. Okay. All right, let's see here. Next, we're looking at 6 months. Interesting perspective here as well. And let's go. Short term. Short analysis. 04, 05, 26. Go. Okay. What do we see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It did make a lower low, and then it popped back up. We don't know what it's establishing a high. We don't know. So yeah, it's down another quarter point for me. Minus 0.75. I move more steadily than the Oracle does. You can see that the Oracle already is at a -1. So curious where it's gonna oops. Curious where it's going to end up. Oh, okay. So it actually improved, but it improved to where um so I mean I guess I can try to square that. Let's see if this makes sense. I lost my drawing tools. We did end here and then we ended here. So technically it advanced, though for me, I have to acknowledge this. That's a lower low. I look at this and say minus 0.25 because this has not, I mean, we don't really have a last high. I guess you could say this maybe. We didn't get there. We didn't get there. None of these. It's still a lower high. If tomorrow we do this and then we do this and then we drop, that's clearly still a lower high. So the to me the high hasn't done enough for me to mark it and score it. Okay. So through different analyses, the Oracle and I end up at the same place. So it improved slightly to minus 0.75. All right, interesting. Steve C dropped to a minus 0.75. Okay. Let's go on. Sorry, I just wanted to get a sense of who's here. All right. Let's see. Platform. Volume. Volume. We're actually making good time today. Volume. Too much space. Let me take this back down. Time 7. Okay. Oh, that didn't work. 7. Okay, let's get a snapshot. You know what I would think I want to do on this actually? Um, I want to. I wonder if it'll help for the model to see the dates, but I don't want these other indicators in here. Give me just a second. This is gonna just be basic settings. Save. Okay. And then I'm going to um, delete this, this, and this. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's try this. No, I missed it. I don't know how much this will matter or not, but come on. Just let me take a picture of the screen. And I'm going to put these dates in just to see if that is useful. And this week's chart 04, 05, 26, paste, go. And we meantime, ooh, I almost saw it. I don't like to be influenced. In the meantime, we've got sell, buy back here that are pretty stale. And so I'm going to throw out the whole chunk. I'm not going to count that. I feel like it's gone by Wednesday. Wednesday's a buy day, so now. So now what do I have? Now I have sell, tie, sell, buy. So I have 3 sells, 2 buys due to this big winner here, and 1 tie. Yeah, that's a 0 for me. Remember, tie goes to the buyers. So if this was a 2, if it was 221, we would say this is 0.25. But because uh but because the distribution has shifted, you can see that our last 2 big volume days were buys. Those are going to outlast this over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next week, these 2 are going to fall off. And when that happens, if nothing new comes this week, we're going to have 1 sell, 2 buys, and a tie, which is definitely a positive score. Now, what's the argument? The argument is this is our slope, right? I'm not trying to give it a positive score yet, right? So when if we were looking at this, it's not that negative of a score anymore. And a couple of positive days, and this thing could be sideways. So I'm not going to argue with it. I'm going to say it's a 0. What were we last week? I don't even look. Ooh. Okay, so I changed my mind. Good morning, Victor. I changed my mind. Due to the negative slope, due to the fact that that would be a half of a point jump, I'm only going to give it a quarter point. So I am going to let the slope curb it a little bit. And I'm going to say only a minus 0.25, a little recovery. Steve C's like, yeah, don't go to zero quite yet. That's a bit impulsive. Okay, I agree. I agree. And the Oracle says minus 0.25. One above average volume day, and it was buyer controlled. Adding following prior interruption of seller dominance. The last 2 weeks now reflect incremental buyer participation on qualified volume. That's a good analysis. Reducing the strength of the distribution rec trend with seller pressure no longer slacking, buyers beginning to appear, the overall posture moderates. Okay. That's fair. It's a good analysis. I got a little I got a little irrationally exuberant for a minute there, and I just had to dial back. Okay, so you're also a minus 0.25. Okay. Okay, this thing's doing all right. It's holding up. It's trying. Let's go do major market. Um, okay. Mm. Okay, let's get rid of this little ad down here. We don't want you in our picture. And we'll go like that. Oh, 04, 05, 26 charts. Oh, one. And what do we think? Well, we still see the Russell, and we had a clump down here, but now the Nasdaq has punched. Oh, it's not a bad week as a starting point. Knowing we're coming from this is our worst score, isn't it? No, it's only a minus 0.25. Sorry, sectors are worse relative to its capacity. More of, well, not really, actually. We do have the Russell up here, but we have the Nasdaq down here. So not great. Okay. Number two. Just dropped down to 66 days. And that actually shows more of the same. We still have the Russell on the top, but we still have the Nasdaq on the bottom. I don't know. I mean, we don't see anything more defensive. Without seeing the Russell pulling back and the Dow trying to push forward a little bit, I'm like, well, it's probably just going to stay the same. Let's see if that's true. Let's see if that's true. And one more. We would love to see stability, though a lot of what I'm reading is talking about the fact that, we're still seeing the rolling effects of the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. Like, it's 35 days before the effects hit the US, where the last some places are already feeling it and starting to curb usage and put restrictions. So Uh, if it lasts 3 months, this is what I saw. Tell me if you heard the same. If it lasts 3 months, oil could hit 170. And that's about double where we are now, right? Where are we now? We're not to 6 weeks yet, but we're getting close. Does that sound right? Or are we not even to 5 weeks? I think we're past 5 weeks, but not to six. So not quite halfway. If it lasts 3 months, they project oil could hit 170 a barrel. If it lasts 6 months, it would be a global recession. So a lot of pressure around said conflict. Hey Vladimir, good to see you. Did I put this one in? I did. Let's go look at 22 days. 22 is pretty locked up. A lot of parity here. Everything's kind of moving the same way. Um, pretty pretty dead on. Uh, I'm unchanged. I didn't see anything that indicated it was getting better or worse. Just kind of everything's down. Small caps are down the least. So I'm feeling yeah, I'm feeling like that's pretty stable. I'm gonna leave my score alone at minus 0.25. And let's see where the Oracle went with this. We do have a potential inflection. Okay. Objectively, Russell's still the leader, no longer making lower lows, attempting stabilization. Decline has slowed materially. Okay, we had a pause, no bullish signal, just less bad. Um, correct scoring. Okay. I was like, that seemed like you gave me so much. Just give me this. This is all I care about. Um, minus 0.25. Is that an improvement for the model? Oh, it sure is. That's the Oracle's like feeling some bullishness. Like, hey, this is looking good. I'm like, well, looks okay. It's like it's temper the enthusiasm, buddy. Yeah, your inexperience is showing. Okay. Um, where are we? Sector rotation. Sector rotation. Uh, sector rotation. Energy still dominant. Bit of a pullback, but still dominant. Utilities is there. Materials is there. Industrials. Technologies. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see if we actually get to a measure of improvement. Here is the 200-day. 040526 charts. One. Okay. And let's get this one done. Two. Okay. What are we thinking here? Energy's at the top, materials, utilities, healthcare, industrials trying to like hang out with the cool kids and be like, hey, what's going on? Staples. It's all defensive and inflationary, except for industrials. Everything else is um under the fold here. Technology is down, comm services is down, discretionary is down, financials is down. It's fairly bleak on the 133. Let's go to the 66. See if it looks markedly improved. It doesn't. To absolutely nobody's shock, I'm sure. Let's go back here to okay, energy's still way high. Materials, utilities, staples, and then there's industrials. Just like we're sort of still hanging on, and everything else below the fold down here. Yeah, I see absolutely no improvement whatsoever. My score remains the same, minus 0.75. I'm not going to drop it to a -1. That's, I guess, it's got that going for it. Didn't get worse. Didn't get worse. Bam. Ready, go. And we will go back to the 6 month and prepare to see the VIX. This is a really important addition. Sector contacts. Blah, blah, blah. Wait a second. Where was minus 0.5? Energy, defensive. This is degradation. Clean summary. Holding. That's hold on a second. Hold on a second. Oh, did I forget to change? I did. Oh hell. This was placed in the wrong conrow. Disregard the last request for charts related to sectors. It used to tell me like what channel I was on. Okay, sorry guys. I have to hold delete, do that over again. Let me do this. I'm gonna do major market here, sector rotation here, 04, 05, 26 charts. And then copy, paste. Copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. Did I do that right? 200, 133, 66, 22. Okay, not terrible. Sorry, guys. Not a terrible detour. I was like, wait, that didn't make sense. Sector chain or sector rotation minus 0.75. That makes a lot more sense. On the 66, the structure remains decisively defensive. Technology, just financial discretionary remain in lower tier. No meaningful stabilization. Healthcare utilities continue to hold relative strength. Industrials, it's the only clear leader, but leadership remains narrow. Score. What are we looking for? A move back would require technology basing and improving its relative position, while further strengthening in utilities staples would push us towards a -1. That is perfect. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. It's basically how macro desks do this in real time. Oh, yeah. Don't get cocky. Don't get cocky. You're still new, buddy. Okay. Let's go to the VIX. Everybody stays the same at minus 0.75. But it does seem like we might get a little stability here. 0405 26 chart. Now I want to load. Oh, wait a second. I want to save this one first. Save study set. And this is just for volume analysis. And you're like, what do you mean? There is no volume. There's no volume because this is the VIX. The VIX doesn't actually trade. But if I went back to SPY, that's all you would see. But now what I can do is I can go load basic. This is the basic. Now, the only bad thing is you'll notice I'll always come down and resize my panel smaller. Oh, wait. Basic doesn't have volume? Oh, what have I done? Oh, I'm still on the VIX. Never mind. Never mind. Okay. Okay. Silly me. What a silly goose. Ugh. I think I need a new mouse or a new mouse battery. I can't tell which is which. And there's the VIX. Let's go drop this in. Okay. Yeah, we had a higher high. We smashed up to it. We've dropped back, but we're still in a higher low setup. This is our last low. If this thing bounces, it's still a higher low. To me, this still reads escalation. I'm actually -1. And the model is improved to a minus 0.25. Now, here's the deal. I disagree with that. But it's not flawed logic. Actually, no, it is. Let me see. It contracted from a higher high. I don't know. Mm. Breaking the immediate expansion while still elevated, it marks a clear shift from expansion to compression. Um, I don't know. Mm, yeah, okay. I don't agree with that analysis. Who else is running a who else is running an AR model? This is an interesting one to me. I don't feel like I don't feel like, you know, especially if you were to this day here where it opened really high and then sold off, established kind of a false mechanism, in my opinion. How so? You might be thinking. Well, if I were to just like cut it off, you're like, I didn't know you could do that to a candlestick, Scott. Yes, you did. I've done this before. Let's say that we just sort of took that out. Right now, there's nothing that makes this at all look like it's settling down. That looks like expansion. I mean, it's pulled back in this context from the top of this to the bottom of this. Yes, that has happened. But the top is still rising and the bottom is also still rising. Um, I wish it showed more. For me, it's got to get back to here, or it's got to make a lower high, not a higher high. And we actually discounted that prior one because it did end up closing all the way back down there. We basically in our minds did this. We said, look, we're not gonna like mark 35. It was a, it wasn't there. Anyways, otherwise that would have thrown off everything. So is there a bit of subjectivity in how we're treating that thing? I mean, yeah, there is. I acknowledge that, but it's in pursuit of a stable analysis where I'm not like chopping around like it's hot, it's low, it's hot, it's low. And so for me, yeah, this is a pretty big divergence in analysis. This will be an interesting one to see what happens next. I would love to be wrong and have the oracle be right. And it's a line of conviction of diffusing fear. I haven't seen enough yet. I'm unconvinced. And in fact, scoring in an objective manner, trying to be objective, my objective scoring says if we are discounting that previous weird red candle that we've cut in half and erased half of the, so we can see this the way we want to see this last week on Monday. Actually, it wasn't Monday, was it? It was Friday. That was a Friday right there. So actually, now I'm like on this huge rant, and I forgot that we only had 4 days, not five. Did we already score the higher high, or did we score the higher low? I actually think like we did score the higher high. I think we scored the higher low. I think we scored the higher low here and the higher low here, higher high. Yeah, I think we did. I'm gonna leave mine at minus 0.75. I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm not gonna take it further. I don't think it's a huge matter one way or the other. but we're still at, it's still like, for me, it was like at best stays the same. If anything gets worse. And the Oracle's like, oh, it's better, like convincingly. And I'm not seeing that. Okay, so there's where we ended up. I stayed the same, and the model improved by 0.75 this week. Um, what's everybody else's net score? Did you? I would have to expect nobody got worse. Did you stay the same or did you get better? Or did you get worse? I don't know. Maybe you did. Same or better? That's kind of where I think we're probably going to find ourselves. Same or better? Minus 2.25. Okay. Very nice. Very nice. Um, okay. Any influence of the second airman being rescued last night? I don't think, I think it's, that was like a very similar binary to where we're in now. If they got him, and everyone's like, oh, if they get him, they're going to kill him. I'm like, if they get him and kill him, it's going to be a huge escalation. And um, so I was like, I mean, obviously, we hope we get him, and we did. So I think it's like, it's not like, oh, it's going to get better. Like that helps things. It just doesn't hurt things. That's my take. But I'd love to hear anyone else weigh in. What the hell do I know? Um, but yeah, I think we'll see. Maybe the futures will tick up a little bit. Remember what we're doing. So now we've got our posture. Let's go back to the market and talk about what do we think. Well, you know, this is still lower high territory and concerning for a rollover. It hasn't done this and it hasn't done this. Those were a couple of our thoughts that could happen. It also didn't do this, but it could do this. Um, right? If you remember from this day here, or maybe it was, yeah, I think that was it, Tuesday. On Tuesday, we kind of drew these paths. Well, I feel like we're still in this path, which is why I think, hey, I have an early bearish watch list. So I think we're going to be able to fly through the bulls. The bulls are going to have very minimal. Let's review. Let's review these bears. For anyone who's interested, and I'll post them as well. B. Barrick Mining. You can see anything that's in a lower high, overbought. We're looking for them to roll over. Some are in mining and metals. This is, so that's gold. This is silver. Very similar. Actually, Google's on my list. It broke down, tested the 50 or tested the 200. Now it's having a hard time getting back to the upside of the 50, the 100. We'll see if that continues to roll. Bud, you can see a lot of these same kind of things where they're continuing to drop. Now it's maybe Budweiser is a $60 stock and it's working its way back there. Here's one from financials, Aflac. Broke below the 200. Now it's getting back up, having a hard time closing through. It did get a little through the moving averages, but without much volume. So I don't think there's a lot of conviction behind that. This is on my bearish list. NVS. Novartis, Honeywell, Railroad, UNP, and CCI. That one had a big day, but if it stalls underneath the 200, I still think so. Then we have HMY. This one's well underneath, having a hard time. Disney. Disney's in some struggles. WMG popping up but not getting very far. Roblox down and possibly falling further. I have DBX. Adobe. So we'll be watching these. As of right now, depending on how things open on tomorrow, if this market, I expect a taco event for the deadline. Yeah. Um, I think that the airman being rescued allows for a taco. I don't know that we could have tacoed if they got him. Um, Adobe, I was a little bit mixed on, but it is still down there. Lululemon retail, KHC. I hope you see the pattern of what's going on in here. These stocks that are down, moving lower, struggling. Um, GIS, CVS, pharmaceutical, CTAS, Cintas. That one really got popped. And again, I don't want you to think these are like, oh, I think these are all going to drop tomorrow. No, these are all when they roll over, when the transition from buyers, which is where we are now, especially on this one, transitions to sellers, and the sellers take control again, there's a good chance it makes a run. That's what we're looking for. Otis, Uber, and Workday. Workday and Uber kind of have turned a little sideways, and that's always the concern when something's been under its moving averages for so long that you're like, eventually it starts to become where people are like, is this now a value play? Is there something else that we could be doing with this? And they're looking at it a different way. Okay, that's the Bears that we're watching. Let's just run through real quickly now. Trading plan. We're on section 2, which is what? Exactly what we just did today, market posture. All you're doing is just drafting your rules, your process, talking about how it impacts, like, hey, what do? I posture every week to orient to orient around what the market looks like and is doing. If it's a strong market, I take more risk. If it's a weak market, I take less. I orient my strategies around it. The way that I position size, the way that I set stops, the way that I manage trades, the amount that I take, when I take it, the amount that I carry, how long I carry it for, how I tighten stops, everything along like how I manage trades and things like that is going to be dictated by my market posture. And then it's a pretty important starting piece, cornerstone for everything else to work well. To make sure that, because I'll tell you this right now, 9 out of 10 times when I would dissect and review with an individual trader to assess, like, hey, what's going wrong? It's not that they're bad traders and they can't read markets well or read charts well. They're getting the market wrong. They're like, well, they're just always bullish. They're not adjusting to conditions. When the conditions are good, they make money. When the conditions get bad, they just give it all back. And it's just like, well, that's the problem. You got to make it and then keep it. Make it, keep it. Make it, keep it. It's a better pattern, I promise. Okay. Finding the market posture helpful. Good, Sarah. Good. It's a funny thing because this is a process that I've taught for at least 15, maybe even 20 years. And this was one of the things that when I would like reconnect with someone after years and they're like, hey, I haven't seen you, or they'd send an email, they'd be like, what's your posture? I still do it every week. Even, even people who stopped trading, they're like, I just didn't have the time and the capacity, but I still manage my investments like, more passively, 401k, stock holdings. And they're like, and the market posture still influences much of what I do. Just to understand and not be like, oh, what's happening? What's going on? And having to listen to somebody else and wonder if it's right. Anyway, so, okay, let's get this done and then we'll call it a day. I think we'll get through this in 5 minutes or less. I do like Alcoa, but it's got to pull back. Anything that's still making higher highs, higher lows, that's on my list. I'm willing to look at it. Apple, no. Archer Daniels, yes. AMAT, I'm going to keep it on there. It's holding up. It's fighting the good fight. AMKR, two sideways. AMZ, no. APH, no. ASX. ASX is still trying to fight as well. It's battling still. There still may be a few people carrying some of that. AXP, no. BABA, no. Bank of America, no. BCS, no. Citigroup. I'm going to put Citi on my list. It broke back above. I'd love to have a few more, right? It broke back above the moving averages. It does have earnings, which means what? It means we're this close to earnings season. Starts when financials start. So that's another thing that we have to keep in mind in our cycle. Caterpillar, I'm not going to put it on. CF, okay, we'll leave it there. It's still influenced. Coherent, no. Cisco, I'm going to put Cisco on my list. Wishful thinking, maybe, I don't know. Delta has earnings. That's a no. Dow Chemical, yes. Ford, no. GE, no. Gold, no. GM, no. Google, no. Goldman Sachs. It has earnings, but I'm going to put it on for good luck, I guess. I don't know. Home Depot, no. IBM, no. Intel, yes. Good job, Intel. Way to break out. It's not enough for us to trade it right now, but keep an eye on it. Lumentum. Oh gosh, Lumentum. I don't know that we'll ever trade Lumentum. It's fun to watch, I guess. LRCX. Um, maybe. Maybe. I'm gonna put it on. It's a little sideways overall, but it is holding that 100 and it can make moves. MasterCard, no. Meta, no. Monster, no. Morgan Stanley, no. Microsoft, no. Micron, no. Netflix. Ooh, Netflix is a maybe. It's trying. It's trying. Nvidia, no. Palantir, no. Q's, no. Rocket Lab. Ross Stores. You guys know I'm a Ross Stores fan. RTX, no. Silver, SNDK, still on the list. Not a lot, but a few more. A few more popped on. That's good news. We'll put STX still there. They all look very similar. Cisco, no. TJX, it just doesn't have the liquidity. I'm only going to put Ross Stores. Tesla, Ross Stores doesn't have the liquidity, to be fair. It's right on the bubble. TSM, no. UPS. UPS just can't decide. We'll see what happens. If it drops, support, the resistance hasn't broken, but it keeps testing. You can see what happens, right? Like we didn't get this. A little hiccup would be fine as long as this happens next. And that's what we're looking for. Its lease is much shorter if you carried it. Veil, maybe. Viking, no. VIX, we already know about the VIX. VOD. Okay, VOD's trying. I'll put it on. If it pulls back, makes a higher high. WDC on. And that'll do it. Walmart. Ooh, actually, Walmart breaking back above the 50. I'm going to put it back on. It's not terrible. I stabilized. The Oracle improved. Yeah, we've got to still be patient, but and again, all eyes are on the Middle East and that conflict, because if we cross, like, the longest I've heard, tell me if you've heard differently. The longest I've heard the administration is 6 weeks. 6 weeks. And even on that last little speech, it was like, we're very close. I know we're all like very skeptical of that. Hopeful but skeptical. What day is Iran conflict? February 28th. So we had all of always we had all of March, which is a 31 day. So do we count the 28th? That was a Saturday. That's day one. 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. 38, 39, 40, 41. Okay, so at the end, so on the 10th, on Friday, it's been 6 full weeks. 6 full weeks on Friday. I mean, it goes fast, right? Like it's like, oh, it just started. Like, whoa, wait, what? It's been 6 weeks? Yeah, it's crazy. Um, and it seems with two planes being shot down, more entrenched than closer to resolution. And that's what's, kind of scary. And then it's like, oh, that Strait of Hormuz is a real quagmire. We'll just be like, nah, we're not going to worry about it. I don't think that's going to fly. All right. So that's what we're watching. Then the week after that, earnings. So plenty on the docket. Let's take one quick peek at the economic calendar before we wrap this up. Good work today, everyone. Good timing. We did well. What do we have? Monday, ISM, that's nothing. Tuesday, nothing. Wednesday, minutes, but we kind of we kind of have a sense for the we kind of have a sense for the Fed, which is don't expect anything. Thursday, this is where we have some information. Personal income, personal spending. We have PCE is the big one. That's the big one. We have GDP. That's pretty big. And then we have CPI. So we got a lot of inflationary data this week. Inflationary data that's now going to the PCE is showing February, not going to show the war. And you can see that one's like, oh, we may tick down. Even if we tick down, no one's going to believe it, because now we're getting expectations, and you can see we're expecting it to jump from 3.3 to 1. This is now we're getting March data. Now that we're getting March data, it's going to get a little scarier. We think it's going to go from 2.4 to 3.3. So these are the numbers where everyone's going to be like, oh, shit. Historically, it's short compared to, I mean, it is, but when you say conflicts, like, you mean wars that were approved by Congress, or do you mean unapproved conflicts that are just like excursions? Because we have to classify it, right? We have to classify it. it was pitched like a Venezuela, in and out, not a this may take a while, and the strait's going to close, and oil's going to hit 170 if we can't get this figured out in under 3 months. So I mean, if you're saying we should all be okay with that, I don't know. That's going to be a tough sell. Is a tough sell. I think as you see, the polling on this thing is not good. I don't think a lot of people were convinced of the necessity of this. Um, so that makes it difficult, and the markets clearly are not responding well. And I think that when we do see it respond, what does it respond to? Some brief glimmer of, oh, maybe it's going to respond. The admin has dropped most of their initial objectives, trying to figure a way out, and that's a tough one, right? So anyway, well, we'll see. It's great to see everybody. Happy Easter. Enjoy your egg hunts. Enjoy your Easter dinners for those who partake. Have a great rest of your weekend. I'll see you tomorrow morning. And as always, happy trading.